Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome to the GameCola podcast. This is podcast number 83. With me today are Anna Bryniarski and Joseph Martin. Everyone introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Anna Bryniarski.
Hi, I'm Joseph Martin.
And today it is the Madden cast, where we're going to talk about why Madden NFL 94 is the best game of all time.
Wait, what?
This is April.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that next month was
You know what? You got me so hard. I didn't even realize that it wasn't actually April. I mean, it is actually April Fool's Day. Currently, right now, at this very moment.
Yes,
I feel kind of ashamed that I forgot that April comes in like a week.
Yes, actually, I think this will be...
No, I mean, April's right now. Yes, currently.
What?
And that is not an April Fool's trick. Do you think they bought it?
I think they got it. I think yeah. But yeah, this will be going out on the 5th, so... but I just want...
Oh, okay. You tricked us again!
It's April Fool's Day. Happy Easter!
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Well, but it's going to be Easter when this goes out. Like, it'll actually be Easter.
Oh, wow, that's right. Oh, hey!
Happy Easter.
Is it going to be actually Easter Day?
Yeah, Easter Sunday.
Yeah, because it goes out the first Sunday of the month. I actually knew that, too, because my parents were talking about it, and I just didn't associate it with the podcast.
I'm going home for Easter. That'll be fun.
So, obviously, the first topic for today is Easter-based video games.
Yes.
So let's all list off just all the Easter-based video games we know, and we'll just sort of go on from there. All right, good talk.
Okay, so Doodle Jump actually has a thing where you can make it look like Easter, but that's pretty much all I can remember at this point.
I used to have Doodle Jump on my phone. I don't anymore. The only game I have on my phone right now is Mega Man 2, the iOS version, and it's terrible. And I'd never play it because it's got terrible controls. And it's also Mega Man 2, and Mega Man 2 and I don't get along sometimes.
There are no Easter video games. Like, there are Christmas video games.
Yeah. I think Christmas is a little bit more widespread than Easter tends to be, though.
Well, there are Easter eggs.
It's true.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about our favorite Easter eggs. Well, now that we're on the spot, trying to think what's an Easter egg? Because you got to differentiate between an Easter egg and just something that's kind of cool in the game, or like an intended secret. I remember when I first learned what an Easter egg was. Yeah. Like the terminology, because I was looking up a walkthrough for Chibi Robo, which I had which I was renting at the time, and apparently, I don't know if I was looking up a walkthrough or if I was just looking up this because the mic for the GameCube, you could get it with like the Mario Party 6 and 7. You could use it with that. I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before.
I don't think so.
Never about the Mario Party Wii microphone minigame where I would shout. I did because I just listened to one of the podcasts and I talked about where I would shout pineapple into the microphone for one of the games, but there weren't pineapples, there were apples, and everyone would be like, "Get off the pineapples!" But there were no pineapples, and then the people standing on the apples would fall and die, and I would laugh. I've definitely told this story before on the podcast.
Yeah, okay, I remember that now, yeah.
But the mic could also do some like secret things in other games. So like for Chibi Robo, like it was just an Easter egg because it didn't do anything. But if you like shouted into the mic, he would like react like you just shouted at him like ah. That was the first Easter egg that I ever knew about.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that I like explicitly remember because I mean like it's different than secrets. Like there was something you could do in Mario Paint.
Oh, like
it would play that stupid like doot 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 doot.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that theme by that one guy who puts his
Yeah.
theme in games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a
um,
couple. There's like, if you stay on the save screen of Luigi's Mansion for a long time, it'll do that.
Yeah.
If you stay on the clear screen for one of the caves, or not for one in particular, but just after you do a cave mission in Pikmin 2, if you stay on that screen for like several minutes, it'll start playing. So and in the first Pikmin, if you got, I don't remember exactly, you got like even amount, I guess 33 red Pikmin, 33 Pikmin, and 33 blue Pikmin out, and then just had them like stand. They would sing the song. They would like hum it in their little Pikmin voices.
Okay. But yeah, that was the one that I remember. Like, I'm sure there was probably something else in some other game. Because like the warp whistle in like Super Mario Bros. 3 doesn't really count.
Yeah, because
like that's an
if
actual
it
secret.
does something to advance
Yeah.
the game, I wouldn't count that as an Easter egg. That's a secret. Oh, in Legend of Zelda, Aka Oka Uka Arena of Tim, you I think you can get you can see a Mario painting through like a window in the castle.
Okay.
That's one. And it's very early in the game where you are sneaking into the castle. There's apparently a place where you can do that.
I know what you're talking about. That one.
And then there are some where it's not really an Easter egg as much as a thing that you can see that you probably weren't supposed to. Like the book in Noki Bay in Super Mario Sunshine. Is either of you familiar with that?
Nope.
No, I never had a GameCube.
So, in Super Mario Sunshine, there's this one level where you jump into a jar of water. You get like shrunk down into a jar of water. You go swimming around, and what you're supposed to do is just collect 8 red coins in that, as per the usual. But at the bottom of it, there's these quote unquote ruins, which I don't know how. This is a bottle. But at the bottom, if you get the camera to sort of pan through the wall, because they don't make it solid on the inside, they just put like a layered texture. If you get it to pan through the wall, you can see a book in there.
Okay.
It's a closed book. You can't see anything on it, but it's just there's a book there. Everybody's like, why is there a book there? It doesn't do anything. Yeah. It doesn't look like anything. It's just a book. Yeah. Why? There's also the aliens in Mario Galaxy on one of the planets. If you point the camera up to the left, you can see these weird aliens, but they're like stereotypical aliens.
Okay.
And they'll follow you through the level, but they're way off in the background texture.
Okay.
Because it's like a mountain, and they'll sort of just follow you through the level.
Okay.
But you can't look at them while you're playing, so you never see them move.
That sounds really dumb.
It's very subtle. It's not something you would notice unless you were looking for it most of the time. They look a little creepy. Hold on, let me see if I can find pictures of it. They're a little creepy.
Hold on, let me just go Mario Galaxy aliens. Oh, weird. Yeah, they do look creepy. Wow.
Yeah, make sure you look at the.
Yeah, like they're standing on the mountain, just kind of like staring at you.
Mm-hmm. So that's that. This is creepy. Anybody else have some fun Easter eggs for our Easter time?
I can't think of any.
Yeah, like I know that I found some, but it's been so long since I played a game that did that that I can't think of anything at the moment. Happy Easter, one and all.
Yay!
Should we rapidly shift topics so as to continue to have podcast material?
Well, okay. There is one more holiday in April. GameCola's birthday.
Yay!
Yes.
My birthday too.
Really? When's your birthday?
April 12th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thanks.
April 22nd is GameCola's birthday, which I believe will be the 13th?
I think
April.
So.
Yeah, because 2002, I believe, is when we began. So, 2015. GameCola is officially a teenager.
Hooray.
So it's the 13th birthday?
Well, it'll be the 13th birthday on April 22nd.
Right.
So, GameCola already has a Tumblr. GameCola was a Tumblr 12.9-year-old.
Scandalous. Don't say that on the internet, Jeddy. We'll get arrested by the web police.
That's true. But, well, we're 13 now, so we can have a Tumblr account. We can log on to fanfiction.net. Everything else.
Right.
Have a DeviantArt.
Everything else that we've been doing already.
Yes. Well, Neopets, I guess you can have an account. Like, don't they have a section, like, you select your age and you can select, like, 7 or something?
Probably.
Do they let you keep
I never had
playing?
Neopets.
Oh, really?
Do they let you keep playing if you select 7?
I think it's one of those where, like, asks you to go get your parents or something. I mean, I never tried it. I just remember seeing the, like, select your age group, and it was, like 2 to 4, 5 to 7, like, 8 to 11, and then, like, 13 and over or something.
Because some websites will ask you your age, and you could put that you are either a 2-year-old
older than I am.
Were just born, or are from the future.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they don't want to reprogram that list every year.
Or the ones that start at, like, 1900.
Those little drop-down menus should just start at... You click it, and it opens, and it just starts on whatever year would make you 18. Because that's all anybody ever does. I think now what a lot of people do is they just have it go on 50 years into the future.
Yeah, and that way, yeah, by then they probably won't have that domain name.
By then, we might not even have domains.
Whoa.
The internet will be like an ocean that you just swim through, and then you, like, punch a cat video and it plays.
You punch a cat.
A punch a cat video. Not to be confused with a punch a cat video, where someone makes a video punching a cat, which is terrible. Do not do.
Yes.
But it's, intonation is important, is the lesson that we have learned today. I did not sleep very well last night. I'm just going to say that right now.
Here, you guys can look at this horrible animal cruelty.
I had an 8 a.m. today. And things are not going well.
Those kinds of classes are disgusting.
It's a wacky game. But it's okay, because he's just sort of, like, patting him on
Pushing
the head.
him down. I like the one that hops out.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I didn't see. Where?
At the bottom left one at the
I
end,
didn't
it hops
see it.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it the first time.
Hello, viewers.
How many cats are in there?
So many.
I think there's like 4.
You better link this in the show notes.
I will.
It's so cute.
Speaking of both college and video games, because we were definitely talking about video games, because this is the GameCola podcast where we only talk about video game related things ever.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. We've been having some fun college video game adventures right here in Joseph College Town. One of the big things is that so we have a communal Wii U that someone brought.
That's
awesome.
And I brought a couple games, but at first we all just like always played Smash Brothers on it. Just that was the only thing we played. Because the only other Wii U game we had was Mario Kart. And I mean, Mario Kart's good, but Smash Bros. You can do 8 people. So, but right now we haven't really had a chance to all get together and play it. We've been kind of busy this week, and there's a bunch of people playing Wind Waker HD. Like, I've seen everyone not everyone, but I've seen multiple people going through it. And it's gotten to the point where, like, I'm giving them tips because I've seen other people do it. They're like, have you played this game before? It's like, I've never played this game in my life. I've just watched 3 people play it in this week. Yeah. I know what you need to do because I saw it.
Yeah.
Also I brought Mario Galaxy, and I played that a bit. Mario Galaxy is a good game. I would definitely put it in the running for the best Wii game out there.
Best game of 2015.
Yeah. Best game of 2007 is when Mario Galaxy came out?
2015.
No, but seriously, like, that's 2007, that's 8 years ago. That Mario Galaxy came out. It's been 9 years since the Wii came out. Like, how? How does that happen? 14 since the GameCube. 19 since the Nintendo 64. I know that because the Nintendo 64 and I were born in the same year. It's very easy to keep track of that one. I don't even have to do math.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about... Oh, okay, actually, here's a topic. Because I was trying to get 2 Game Boys to work so that I could play Pokémon on the original system against my girlfriend. And I got the Game Boy Color to work, but the start button apparently doesn't work on it. Mm-hmm. And then I got one of the old Game Boys to work. Well, I got both of the old Game Boys, like the original ones. Both of them work. One of them has lines on the screen. And both of them, when you're playing, if you like press a button while you're holding it around the back, like the natural way to hold it, then there's like enough pressure just from like pressing any button gently to move the batteries and turn the thing off.
Whoops. Fortunate.
And so my girlfriend was like, "Oh, come on, just go buy a new Game Boy." And I'm like, and she's like, "Well, they have used game stuff at like GameStop." And I'm like, "I don't think they're gonna have almost a 30-year-old system." She swears that she's seen a Game Boy in a GameStop, and maybe she did once, but I don't think it's a common thing to have like an old 1989 Game Boy at a GameStop.
I doubt it.
I'm pretty sure the oldest games I've ever seen in there are Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, and like, doesn't that work with the original cartridges?
Yes, it does. It can. I think the saving can be a little weird on it, though. Sometimes, if the game has internal saving, it can be a little weird with that. Because I think I tried playing Pokemon Silver on it, or Pokemon Blue, or both, and the save files were a little weird. It was like if you, like in the Game Boy, it saved no matter what. But if in the other ones, if you like, I don't remember if it was just if you took it out, you would lose your save file, or if you would just lose your save, or if it would just wasn't 100% reliable. It could also be that those old Pokemon games had very, dry battery. But I did remember that they worked differently in the game, in the like Cinderblock Game Boy versus the Game Boy Advance Game Boy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if I went to every single GameStop, like somebody, their kids moved out, and the parents were like, "Well, let's just go sell all this junk to GameStop. I'll take 32 cents for an old Game Boy."
Oh my god.
Sure. Let's go sell all of this stuff that's games to GameFAQs. I think I've seen that one next to the little Target. And then we could buy the highest quality buoy at Best Buoy over there.
We can go next door and get a burger at McDonald's. Nothing fancy, just the dollar menu.
I mean, you could. The weird thing would be to get a burger at Chick-fil-A. Because they don't give you burgers. They have a lot of cows, but no burgers. It's weird. I'm not sure what's up with that.
We went to Long John Silver's recently, and we got like a family platter, and they were like, "Okay, so you want half fish and half chicken?" And we're just standing there like, at the fish restaurant, we definitely came here for chicken. Like, I mean, I guess they have it for variety, but it just seems so weird. Like, I was just standing there like, chicken?
It's a chicken fish.
I'd be the person who ordered chicken. I'd be that person.
It's the rare, elusive chicken fish, Jeddy. They saw that you were people of high-class taste.
Yes.
They probably mistook you for, like, a very famous food critic. They were like, we better give them a rare, famous, secretly famous, that's how that word works. Sea chicken. Our famous
chicken of the sea.
Sea chicken. Not many people know about it, but you, sir, I can see, are a man of taste.
Yes.
Namely because you have a tongue. That helps most of the time.
I have something vaguely video game related.
Okay.
last night we did this cool date auction thing for my sorority where we raise funds and get auctioned off for dates.
Okay.
And another person wrote my bio. I did not write my own, but I did walk up to the Lost Woods theme from Ocarina of Time. And
wait, how does that one go? Wait, hold on, I'm tuning. Dang it, how does it go? I really like that song. Why can't I think of it? There it is, that one.
Yeah, that one.
That one, yeah. Okay, I'm good. Continue. Sorry.
But like most of my bio had to do with me being like antisocial and playing video games.
That's perfect. The GameCola spirit right there.
Yeah, one of them. Something that was really funny. She wrote, she enjoys taking long walks to avoid people. She likes playing video games, writing about video games, and I think cursing was ahead of both of those because that's hilarious. It was
cursing about video games.
Okay, like when I got home, not when I got home, when I got back to school from Christmas break, I decided I was going to face the Elite Four in Pokemon Y.
Oh, I thought at your college.
No. I decided I was gonna face the Elite Four, and many angry tweets ensued. I got so pissed off one time that I literally almost threw my 3DS at the wall. That was the new one because my 2DS decided it wanted to break.
I was gonna say I would think that the 2DS would have survived the throw.
Apparently not, because I didn't even do anything and decided not to work. But yeah.
I still haven't beaten the Elite Four in my Alpha Sapphire game. I'm just under leveled, and that's it. And there isn't like super good place to train, and so whenever I pick it up every once in a while, but I only have the tolerance to get like a few levels on a few people. And I'm a good everyone's a good 5 levels short of where they need to be. And I could go the easy route of just brawling through it with Swampert, because he's 15 levels ahead of everyone. Just because he's always my fallback, and he just kicks butt. But it's just, I don't want to just do it all with him, so I try to train up the other people. But Gallade is not pulling his weight, buddy. I spent so much time keeping him as a Curlia so that I could evolve him into a Gallade once I got the Dawnstone right before the Elite Four, and then I did it. And he went and evolved, and he's beast crud. Can't survive. He's not fast enough. He's super frail. He's not fast enough, so I can't even get a hit on anybody because they just beat him up before he does anything. And it's I need you to take out the first one because he's fighting, and so he can take out the dark. Well, he's supposed to take out the dark types, but he can't. Because he's not pulling his weight. And he doesn't even have that much weight. He's super skinny. And then I sent out Skarmory, and Skarmory doesn't, take any damage. And it's woo! But then it's also Skarmory doesn't do any damage because it's defensive. And so it's just watch people run into me while it has the rock helmet, which makes it, if anyone attacks it physically, it does damage to them. So I just kind of wait for that to happen for a while. It's invigorating, I promise you. And that's why I haven't beaten the Elite Four. I think the farthest I've ever gotten is the 3rd one. And I just haven't had the motivation to get through it. I might do it over the summer. But as of right now, that is where I stand in that game.
I remember, back in the late 90s, I went to, we had to drive out of town to go to an actual, literal, Pokemon championship event. It was an official event, and so we got badges and everything. And I went, and my team was a few level 30s and 40s Pokemon, and then my Charizard was level 72. But the thing is that I didn't know what to do to level my Pokemon at that point, because how are you supposed to level past 70? And if you've beaten the game, you've beaten all the trainers. So am I just supposed to sit there and fight the Elite Four over and over?
Yes.
Because the thing is, okay, I made it through the first couple of rounds, but the people after that, like everybody had a full team of like Pokemon in the 80s, and I'm like, what are you doing with your lives?
And were they all like Alakazams or stuff that knew Blizzard or Dragonites with Hyper Beam?
I don't remember. I just remember like just being shocked. Like, okay, I have one level 70
like with
Pokemon.
The Pikachu? Shocked with the Pikachu?
Yes, I was shocked. Thank you. Was shock a status effect in the first one?
Paralysis.
Okay. But yeah, I just remember sitting there paralyzed that these people had such high-level Pokemon, and I was getting destroyed.
Well, part of the problem too is that Gen 1 metagame was completely broken. Because the main thing is so Hyper Beam, right?
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a super power. It's a super powerful attack. But the downside is supposed to be that you have to recharge after it. But the thing about the way Gen 1 was programmed, if you knocked out another Pokemon after using Hyper Beam, then you got to stay in, which is like the exact opposite of the penalty. Because Hyper Beam is exactly the kind of move that kills people.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I played through it just by myself, I had a Haunter. Because, nobody had a Game Boy to trade to let me get it a Gengar. But it knew Hypnosis. And the thing about the game is, first of all, Hypnosis did not have the poor accuracy that it has now. It I think it was a 90% accuracy. So it almost never missed. Additionally, when you were asleep, you took a turn to wake up.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is, you might have stayed asleep for the same amount of turns, but the thing is that you always knew when your opponent was woken up, so you could just use Hypnosis again.
Yeah, again, yeah.
And that's basically how I beat the Elite Four. And then whenever there was a problem, I sent out a Sand Slash that knew Earthquake, and Earthquake killed everything that Haunter couldn't get. Because nobody had Flying type Pokemon, just about. And there weren't even levitating Pokemon, and Ground type just beat everything. Earthquake is still a good move, and then what was the other broken thing? Oh, Psychic type. Psychic didn't have any weaknesses except Bug. And the strongest Bug attack was Twin Needle, which was, I think, in total a power of 40. Because I think it did 20 power moves. So it did a 20 power move twice.
Yeah.
For a total of 40 power. And if you had a Beedrill, you could do it. But Beedrill was also part poison, which made it weak to Psychic. So Psychic type Pokemon were OP. And because Ghost was supposed to be it, not that Ghost had any particularly strong moves either. But instead of Psychic being weak to Ghost, they accidentally programmed it so that Psychic's weakness actually did no damage to Psychic. The exact opposite of what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Those are the main. I think those. Oh, and being frozen was apparently really bad too. The way it worked. I don't remember exactly. Oh, you had to use a fire move to become unfrozen. So if you were frozen, you were frozen, and you were basically dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gen 1 metagame was flawless, and probably should be used as the standard for all future competitions. Yes.
Like I'm just being reminded of like the original Final Fantasy with all of its none of the elemental stuff actually worked, and like half of the spells didn't do anything.
And then there was Gilgamesh or whoever, Gargamel.
Garland?
Yeah, that thing you put on like salads or whatever.
What?
Garnish.
He was a pain in the butt. I spent an hour training on imps or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I went to him, and it was super powerful. And I was dying, and I was like, oh, well, maybe this is one of those things where you're supposed to lose the first fight.
Yeah.
But you weren't, and I lost. and it booted me back to the very beginning of the game, like before I even entered in character names.
Oh,
I had to
wow.
start completely over.
Yikes.
I probably could have saved or something, but I didn't know he was gonna be like the boss was gonna be right there. Like you walk into his castle and it's just there. Like I thought it was gonna be a dungeon or something. But nope. And then I died and it started. I couldn't figure out how to do magic or anything either. I don't think I had any magic. That was probably part of the problem.
Yeah, well, you have to buy magic. Like, you buy the spells.
It made my white mage pretty dang useless though.
Dink, dink. Like, that probably is why you lost, just gonna say.
I was a white mage once in the Final Fantasy RPG cast. I was much more useful than my stupid white mage.
A year ago. At this point, that was over a year ago that we finished that.
That might have been almost 2.
No, it was only a year. No, it was only a year ago.
Happy birthday, GameCola.
Because I know we did a lot of it while I was home for winter break.
Oh, okay.
I think we did all of it.
It looks like it's right on the threshold. It wasn't even. Well, I mean, it was. We did it more than a year ago, but it was released on the channel 10 months ago.
No, January 11th is the release date for the first on the site.
Okay. Man, that's still a long time ago.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, I killed something with a shirt.
You did? Wait, what? I need to watch this again.
the final boss. I used a spell.
You killed him with a shirt?
Yeah, that shirt that I was told I could use to make like ice things happen. I just kept using it, and the final boss just died. And then I was I'll let Joe kill it because he hasn't like killed it or anything. I forget why I let you do that, but
because I was all disappointed because he had said that we had these gemstones, right?
Oh yeah,
and these gemstones allowed us to share pockets.
Oh yeah.
So like I remembered that. I was like, okay, when we get to the final boss, I'm gonna like throw my gem at him, and he'll like have it, and then we'll have access to his inventory.
Yeah.
And then the final boss was just like this weird thing, this weird like demon black mist monster thing. It didn't have pockets, so like couldn't. My whole plan was ruined. I was so disappointed. Like I was what's the word? I was much more disappointed than I should have been. I was very disappointed because I was like the whole RPG cast had been leading up to that moment.
Yeah.
And it was just like, nope, can't do it. I was bummed. But then we had pancakes.
Yeah.
And everyone was happy.
The end.
That's a summary of the RPG cast.
There was like this ending part where Michael Ridgway, like I forget what he did. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was so funny, and I was dying. And I kind of just sat there.
I don't want to say it because I want any viewers listening to watch or listen to the podcast because it's hilarious, and it's hilarious too because Nathaniel planned for that exact circumstance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I remember.
If you haven't listened to it, go do that. Not right now because you're listening to this one.
Hours.
Yeah, don't listen to it now because you're listening to us right now. But later, when you finish this podcast,
because it's several hours.
Yeah, it is.
But it was hilarious.
Plus that,
what was the
there was
first
also one where we lost it. We lost the recording for one of them.
Oh yeah, Crystalis.
Crystalis was the first one, and then this was the second one, I think.
This was the third one.
Yeah, after Michael Gray's.
The Maid RPG was the second.
Oh, Maid RPG was the second? Okay.
Yep.
Right, because then Final Fantasy came after. That's right. I was Maid Bob.
Forgot about that.
I lost.
Everyone else was like, making female versions of their names. I was like, Josephina is a terrible. Like, no one's. I'm sorry if you are, but I've never met anyone named Josephina.
I hope you.
Wait, Josephine.
maybe Josephine, but even
I would
still.
just say my best friend's mom's name is Josephine.
But I've never met her, so it doesn't count.
I've met her.
I still stand that I've never actually met anyone named Josephine, and it is not the name that I would choose if I were to choose a female name for myself. Because it just sounds like, I know it isn't because it is an actual name, but it just sounds like someone whose name is like it's like if someone whose name was Samuel, but instead of like changing it to Samantha or whatever, they changed it to Samuela. Or like if the name was, I'm trying to like Richter, and it's like Rickdet. Or your name is or if your name is Bob and you change it to Bobette or Bobette. Or it's just like putting it's I don't know. It just feels like take the male name, add the female thing onto it instead of making a female name. Those are the ones you can use. Ella, Et, Ia. Those are the four that I can think of off the top of my head.
I think I hear music, but I'm not sure if it's music or it's a printer. Because right now I'm very not sure. It could be coming from the building across the courtyard from us because there's someone who just decides to open their window and play their music incredibly loud so we can hear them across the courtyard.
Hold on. I just searched for printer music. Oh, I don't want to watch this ad. I want to listen to some music.
You have to watch the ad.
Wasn't there an Earthbound RPG cast planned at some point?
I think Nathaniel has one planned.
He's still working on it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he usually goes out of his way to make it like super serious, like the rules and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm watching.
It starts around 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna skip to 30 seconds. Oh my god.
Not loading! No! I've listened to a bunch of songs on like 8-bit drives or whatever. I don't.
Yeah, floppy disk drives.
Floppy disk.
I've definitely seen a lot with floppy disk drives.
Yeah, that's what this sounds like. I wish it was like actually like typing something.
Yeah.
What's it gonna do when it gets to the end? It's running out of printer.
It does what printers do. It goes back the other direction.
It is actually making something. Well, I want to skip ahead.
Oh, is it making a picture?
Well, I mean,
I don't think it's making
stuff because it's not making a picture, but it's just actually drawing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna skip ahead and see what the paper looks like.
There's one where it's going the eye of the tiger, and I'm dying inside because this is amazing and also really, really annoying for my ears, but I don't care right now.
In my suggested ones, they have Ghostbuster theme on 8 floppy drives. That's always a classic.
Mm-hmm. There's Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is on floppy drives.
Yeah.
They put in drums though. Okay, podcast.
Okay, sorry, video games. Well, okay, they do have a bunch of, the guy who did the Ghostbusters one does do a bunch of video game music.
The Halo theme.
My favorite was the boss battle music from Lufia 2. That's really good.
Do we still get viewer emails?
We haven't in a long time.
Hey viewers, send us emails.
Yeah, send us an email. I wonder if there's one sitting around that I flagged and never got to.
If not, just read some spam.
I haven't gotten any good spam in a while either.
Dang it!
It's like, don't feel like you cannot email us like too often. Like it's not a big deal if your email is like the email we read every podcast. Like that's fine. Like because it used to sort of be like that. Like it would sort of go in a rotation, but we get people who email like once a week for every few weeks. It was always fun. But yeah, we haven't gotten an email in a while. And in podcast time, it's been a couple of podcasts. But that's like months for us. We haven't had it. I miss emails.
Send us emails.
Looking at you, No Lynch.
Come on, No Lynch.
Send it at sending emails to the GameCola people at gamefax.gamenet.com. Gamecom.gamecola.org.
Yes.
I don't know if I put an @ in there anywhere.
I think you did.
That's just the username. Oh, it's at AOL?
At AOL.com.
It's not at AOL. It's at A0L. It's a common mistake. Completely different domain.
Why do I have my
A0L.com.
Oh.
A0L takes you to AOL.
I would imagine they had enough money to buy that domain.
Long-awaited fan mail. Oh wow, hold on. What? Thai King is dead and WTC nuclear demolition.
What? Is that the subject?
Yeah, hold on. Did I ever talk about this one?
I don't think so.
What?
That, they replaced the Thai King with an actor who looks like him. I got this one a while ago. I got it in
Is it like
November.
A conspiracy?
Yeah, and that
Email?
the World Trade Center was blown up by a nuclear bomb and stuff. Like, that's the truth about 9/11.
What do they want you to do?
Okay.
Like, why are they emailing you about this? Why are they emailing the GameCola podcast about this? To get their message out?
I don't know. Like, I don't even know.
Conspiracies. You're welcome, Internet.
Okay, here's the thing. There is an actual fan mail.
Yes!
Long awaited, which I apologize for. It really is long awaited because they sent this in December.
Oh no!
And I'm sorry, Carmen. Long awaited fan mail. Hello, GameCola podcasters? Question mark. I really enjoy the podcasts. They give me something entertaining to listen to as I draw. Hacks and Slash is definitely my favorite. I always look forward to those. My questions are: what do you think about Let's Players getting paid to do the Let's Plays and or having it as a job? There's a bunch more questions, so let's start with that.
Okay.
Good for them. If they
Yeah.
can make a job out of it, good job.
Yeah, if they're good enough that they like make money on it and they're not just like, I don't know, it's entertainment.
Congratulations.
Yeah, like if they're entertaining or if they provide like a good commentary or whatever, then sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they're it's not like you can't just accidentally make money, like in secret. Like you make money by people watching the video.
I guess I can understand. I don't really care for the ones who just like scream the entire time, like, or that they just sit there and swear about things. It's like, okay, guys, you can just stop doing that now. And so, like, I guess I find it disappointing that people view those videos enough that they can make a living off of that.
Right, but at the same time, it's like at that point, sometimes you gotta wonder, like, is it really the people making the videos that you have a problem with, or just the fact that there's so many people who would watch that? Because I feel, I mean, like, you could also make the argument that they're perpetuating the consumption of that content as opposed to diversifying the interest. But at the same time, it seems like a lot of people are sort of driven to that style. Like, it's not like they start out with that style and then and then they get a following, but like they get a following and that following starts responding to more of the crude humor. And so they're like, well, I want to give my audience what they want. And a lot of the time, it's not really, like, they're not really giving up that much to be crude. Yeah. So it's sort of how it works. And then you could also make the argument that it's like, Let's Plays get a much bigger portion of the market share than, original content and content that should be prized more for its hard work and how much harder it is to do it. But that's not, again, that's not why get mad at the Let's Players for doing that when it's very much just a symptom of how YouTube and other video searching things like prioritize content.
Yeah.
Because if the Let's Players stopped, it's not like 30-minute review videos that take 2 months to make are going to suddenly become the top content. It's going to be something. What replaces it is going to be something just as easy and quick to produce. What I would think is that it'd probably get replaced by like vlogging or maybe like podcasting. Maybe, but I would think that just like short 5-minute vlogs would probably take over the top spot. If they don't already have it now, even what would happen is that there'd just be sort of like gaming vlogs. Yeah, I would think. And so like if you want
people like, this is what I played today.
Yeah, and it's like if you want that to change, you gotta put pressure on YouTube more than the people making the content, because they're just making the content and then YouTube makes it successful. They're not actively shooting down other media forms in order for their content to be popular.
People don't have to watch it.
Yeah, it's a symptom of the design more than it is their fault. That's the way I look at it. But I can certainly understand a frustration with very easy to produce content versus content that you spend a lot of time on, and it's usually the content that's really easy to produce that gets more attention just because you've got that regular schedule, and a regular schedule is just so important for these sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing is like I can understand. I wanted to watch people play Echo the Dolphin because I'd never owned a Sega Genesis, and I heard it was supposed to be a good game, but it didn't feel like sitting through playing a game that I've never played before. Mm-hmm. You know, I was fine with just watching it. And like I lucked out in that for like Echo the Dolphin 1, I managed to find a really good video where the guy sat and he talked about like the history and the creation and like parts that he liked and what happened here and like the actual story that was going on. And then for Echo the Dolphin 2, all I could find was people were like, whoa, I'm getting attacked. I was like, please shut up. Stop. I don't care. I want to hear about the game. I want to see the game be played. And I want to hopefully hear something interesting about the game. Like, just stop with the screaming.
That's part of the problem, too, is that, because at first it was very much just a culture of, that sort of informative kind, where it's very much about the particular game, and that's what you do. But like what sort of happened was eventually Let's Playing, and this was before I think it was super big, but Let's Playing got popular enough and had been around long enough that most of the games that people were familiar with enough to do like an informative Let's Play on had already been done to death. And there wasn't really anything new. So it had to become, so the thing that you had to offer instead of new information about the game was it had to become more person-centric. So something funny or, perhaps something, another route you could go is something impressive. So like that's sort of like split off into like speedrunners or people who do, I think you'll find that more of the informative type ones are people who do like challenges. So stuff like, Legend of Zelda only wooden sword run. You're going to get someone who's very familiar with the game and is going to be able to talk about what they're doing and what their plan is a lot more than you're going to get someone if you just type in the original Legend of Zelda Let's Play.
Well, the one that I remember being like a really early example that was sort of like a balance was, I want to say it was called Mario is Impossible, where the guy plays like a weird hacked version of Super Mario Bros. And he just says a bunch of stupid things like, oh, this is worse than reading YouTube comments. This is worse than an R.L. Stein novel.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking. I think I know that video you're talking about. Like he was just there to be upset.
Like that was funny, and I think that's sort of where
because he had that. Is it like most difficult Super Mario mod ever?
Mario is frustrating. It's a good thing I have W Blue Sky Lives here.
I like how he like builds up like. Yes, I'm doing it, and then like he's just like, dang it, like super calmly. He's just like, dang it. And I'm sure it builds, but that contrast and stuff I just watched.
But
so it's become a lot more person centric, and it doesn't have to be holistically. I think it does need to be to a certain extent at this point, because that's the only, your individual characteristics are sort of what new thing you can bring to the table. And whatever sort of if you have multiple people, like those dynamics, you can bring that to the table of this game as a frame reference. But like informative stuff is not nearly as much in demand, especially since a lot of the time if people want to learn about a game, it's a lot easier to do your own research nowadays. And there's been lots of informative. A lot of the time what you'll end up with is that Let's Plays are more person centric, whereas someone who wants it to be much more of a, this is how you do this, and this is a fact about this, and this is you would end up calling that like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Even though walkthroughs don't necessarily have commentary. It sort of depends. Walkthroughs could also be like a silent gameplay. But I think the term has changed a lot over time in terms of what it means. Because there are some people who will call just anyone playing a game and like recording it and talking at the same time, they would call that a let's play. There are other people who are like, no, a let's play is when, like, there was a long time where there was a significant group of people who were adamant that it was not called a let's play unless you intended on finishing the game.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it was not finishing games that you play, that have an end, I think is a pretty recent development in terms of, like, the whole history of it. Like, only in the past couple of years has that become a thing, where you only play a game for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, as a person-centric thing, that makes a lot of sense, because that's about getting as much comedic value, or not necessarily even comedic, but getting as much entertainment value out of it. And once the entertainment value is out of it, you move on. But, for something that's information walkthrough based, you need to show all of it, because that's the point. So it's different styles, and it's definitely, I do think it has swayed a bit too far to the other side. Yeah. But at the same time, I do think that it needed to swing at least a little bit in the first place, just as things change.
Well, some variety.
Yeah, variety is always good. I think eventually it'll sort of swing back into the middle a little bit, or there'll be, someone will come up with something new and then everyone will just copy that. So I think we answered the question.
Yeah. Were there any particular foods shown in games that you would actually want to eat in real life?
I'm guessing you mean like foods that are only in games? There's lots of food. Like, I mean, I eat chicken.
If you show food, I'll probably eat it.
If I broke into a wall and a turkey fell out, I would eat it.
I didn't say that specifically. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I didn't say that specifically.
If the food doesn't look like it's going to be disgusting, or like it'll make me sick, I would probably be like, yeah, sure, maybe I'll eat it.
Like, in Final Fight, there was one boss fight where the guy, like, comes out, he spits his gum on the ground, and then you start fighting, and if you go over and pick up the gum, you heal, like, 5 hit points or whatever.
Okay.
So,
in the new Smash Bros., if you play as Pac-Man, there's one little attack where you send out a power pellet, and then it's followed by, like, this, as it goes out, it, like, leaves a trail of Pac dots.
Okay.
And then, like, what you do is that after you hold it and you let go of the button, he'll turn into, like, a 3D-ish version of the arcade Pac-Man and, like, eat all of the stuff and then run into anyone who's in the way, and that's the attack. But if someone hits the power pellet while you're doing it, it breaks the thing, and the power pellet falls on the ground. But then someone can go over and, like, eat the power pellet like food, and you get a little health back.
I hate Pac-Man. I hate Pac-Man.
In Smash Brothers?
Yes.
Oh, I love him. He's so much. He's like, I'm not good at him at all. But I like how he like moves around the stage, because he's very animated and bouncy. It's just a lot of fun. But I'm not good at him.
Zero Suit Samus is my main.
I go with Mega Man for obvious reasons. I'm actually pretty good at Mega Man. For a while, I was worried that I wasn't, like, Mega Man was going to be too hard, because Mega Man is a very specific play style.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And I thought I wasn't going to get it, but I've gotten it now. For a while, I did a lot of Sheik and Rosalina.
I'm just trying to get through everyone on the adventure mode thing on my DS, and I'm stuck on Little Mac right now because I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, I hate Pac-Man. Anyway, next question.
Can you recommend any good 8-bit chiptune game OST? I definitely can. I listen to game music regularly. If we're specifically talking about, like, NES style, I would say River City Ransom was always good. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, had a pretty amazing soundtrack. Kirby in, like, basically any game, but specifically the Game Boy one, the original, Kirby's Adventure, the Nintendo one, and Kirby's Dream Land 3 specifically for Super Nintendo is probably my favorite. Some people talk about, I think, Silver Surfer. Another one is Gimmick. Sorry, Gimmick. Mr. Gimmick?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something where I could recommend like the whole soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely like tunes that I'm fond of, like the ending, like the whole ending credits of Mega Man 2. Not the epilogue, where it's like
Yeah.
da 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 da, because it's like I just like blew up a giant alien guy, and now it's like all retrospective and things. Like I didn't learn anything. Don't pretend like this was like a deep, thoughtful experience. Yeah. I just blew robots up, and then it like gets to the cool bit. But it does like it sort of goes through the title theme, and then it sort of just keeps going on, and it like throws the weapon get theme in there. I love that. I wish they had done that for more things, because it's like, you know, it's like it goes on. And it goes like do 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 do, and then while that's playing, it starts playing another thing on top of what was just the plain weapon get music that you've heard throughout the game. Suddenly they take that and they add a melody onto it, and it goes like da 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 da, and it's just I like it a lot.
No, the Mario. Oh wow. Mega Man 2 and 3. I've enjoyed pretty much the entirety of those soundtracks.
I'm good with Mega Man 2 except for the yellow and purple castle stage music. That's the do 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 do.
Yeah, and it just keeps going up.
Do 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 do. And those are the long. Well, the third one's pretty short, so it's not that big a deal. But the fourth one is already the purple stage. I hate the purple stage. The purple stage is the reason I don't play Mega Man 2 anymore, because I just hate it. And it's just so much like standing along on platforms, which is fine to a certain extent, but they got this music that's just the same thing over and over, and it's just this rising set of 4 notes with a never-changing bass line. And it's just like the whole rest of the game had such better music than this. And then you get...
they were just like...
It's not fun.
If we get into Super Nintendo games, like there's too many to list, really.
Yoshi's Island.
Pilot Wings.
Or some other one. I always get weird. I mean, it's always weird for the Super Nintendo, because I've usually played remakes of those.
Like any RPG, you know, any of the Final Fantasies, Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2 specifically. And then you get into like weird things like Lemmings and SimCity both had pretty good music, but like they're less, like they're good background music. I don't know, it's different than like an RPG. Soul Blazer.
Mega Man 7 is okay music sometimes. It's like 50-50 for me on that one. The ones that come to mind immediately are Freeze Man. I'm really fond of Freeze Man's theme. And then the Turtle Wily stage. It's like, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but it like, oh yes, da 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 da, and that keeps going. It's a lot of fun. Mega Man 7 can go either way. I get Yoshi's Island, Mega Man 7. I'm trying to think of, is there any like SNES games that I played. Mega Man X. I've played that.
Yeah.
The music was okay. I'm not. It's been a while since I've actually played through like all of Mega Man X, so I can't really remember. I'm pretty sure the music is good.
It because I'm really bad at video games.
Oh, that final boss. It's like, it's one of those things that's like, once...
I'm just bad at that game. I can't beat anybody, so...
You start with Chill Penguin, because you gotta start with Chill Penguin.
Okay.
That's kind of my only complaint with the game. Well, not my only, but that's probably the only large complaint I have with the game, is that it's really, really structured for you to go to Chill Penguin first. I don't like always, because you don't have to go to Chill Penguin first, but the dash is such an integral part of the game and the stage design that even though you can do the game without it, it's like the game is it's designed to feel so much better with the dash, and you get it in Chill Penguin stage. So you're like, why don't I? You just want to get it but then you always have to go to Chill Penguin first. And he doesn't even have that good of a weapon either. And it's just like, come on, man.
Blaster Master, that's another good NES game. I think the problem with NES games, though, is that, like, so many of them, like, I really like a few of the songs in Crystalis, but then, like, the rest of the songs in
Crystalis a lot. At least the ones that I heard.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, like, there's 2 or 3, like, really good ones in Crystalis, but then there's, like, the entire rest of the soundtrack. And, like, I guess the same thing with, like, River City Ransom is, like, the ones that you hear a lot are really good, but then there's other ones that are just like, oh, I'm glad that we don't hear that very often.
Is there another question?
No, it just says, sorry if any of these topics have been talked about before. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a nice day.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. Thank you. And also don't worry, because, like, even if we have talked about it before, we forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point.
Like, Jay didn't even remember that I talked about the mic from the GameCube.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, if you had said the pineapple thing, I might have remembered that. I remembered it after pineapple.
Remembered it after pineapple. But yeah. This is podcast 83, right?
Yes.
So it's like...
We've talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. We've been... I mean... Wait, okay. How long has the podcast been monthly?
We were literally just looking at this a while ago. Like, when was my first one is the real question. And I want to say it's been, like, the 30s. Oh, wait, I can just search for Jeddy's first podcast.
Is that the name of it?
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Yep, Jeddy's first podcast, September 5th, 2010. Number 29.
Nice.
Jeez. And you've been on every podcast since?
Almost every.
Which one did you miss?
I don't remember. I mean, I know there's been a few that, like, Michael Gray took it back over that month, or, you know, Paul or whatever.
Well, you're getting close to at least, because 83 minus 29 is 54.
Oh, yeah, so I've probably done about 50. Like, if not, it's very soon.
Mm-hmm. And that's, that's 4.5 years of monthly podcast.
Yep.
GameCola podcast has been around for longer than that even. So it's I mean, when was do we have the first podcast like on the website?
It's on the website. Let's see, last page. Podcast number 1, The Janish, from January 2009. Check out our first ever podcast to hear Michael Ridgway, Colin Greenhalgh, and Michael Gray talk about the top games of 2008 and what they're looking for in 2009.
2008.
Was the first GameCola podcast? It wasn't about It would just be hilarious to me if the first GameCola podcast was about like a video game awards where no one had played the games. Like I almost don't want to listen to this first podcast just so that I can imagine that it's about these 3 staff members each talking about their favorite games. And neither of the other 2 have played any of the games that any one of them is talking about.
Well, I think Mike Ridgway and Colin Greenhalgh probably, like, they both play a lot of, like, AAA titles and stuff, so they probably have some games in common. Whereas Michael Gray is probably sitting on the sidelines going, well, it's a Nancy Drew game this year.
Oh, I was gonna start talking about something. Oh, yeah. So, Punch-Out fanfiction is a thing. I didn't look at any of them. I just wanted to see if there were any, and there are.
We need to bring back season 2 of the of Hacks and Slash.
Oh yeah.
We've just all been so busy.
Yeah.
The last sort of thing was the Mario Choose Your Own Adventure, but that was more of a RPG cast.
Yeah, I called that the Adventure Cast.
Adventure Cast.
How do you guys fail at a book?
It was a choose your own adventure book, thank you. It had questions.
And stop, it is impossible to get that answer. Like, it made sense, but it was just, like, out of context. It's like, this is a page that you should not be on. It's like, why would you dedicate a page to this?
I think what it is is basically...
It was if you messed up the games.
Yeah, or if you tried to cheat or something. Mm-hmm. But
even though it's like, oh man, I tried to cheat. Better play it legitimately this time. Instead of just choosing the one below it.
Yeah.
Don't want people getting hacking the leaderboards. Choose your own adventure book. Yeah.
Whoever gets this book after them is gonna have the answers filled in.
You're welcome. What if every answer led to the impossible pages? Just every single one.
This book is impossible.
Well, I like that Paul, he had some of the answers filled in his like physical copy of the book, but like half of them weren't anywhere near right. Like,
Yeah.
the answer to that one puzzle that was like, find the hidden message in here, and they just like circled random letters, is like, this is definitely not what it's supposed to say.
Yeah, we should do another at some point. Like after, I will probably have to wait until after school's out for most of us, just because we're busy. And I feel like the college areas of the GameCola staff make up a pretty big selection of the of hacks and slash.
There are people who usually do hacks and slash.
Because it used to be, let's see, I've led a couple. Diana's led a couple. Paul used to lead most of them.
Yeah, Michael Gray's done a few.
Yeah, Michael Gray's done a few. I don't remember. Has anyone else led one?
Maybe Nathaniel, but I don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had, but I also don't think he has.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, there was like Paul, then like Michael,
Zach,
and Joseph Martin.
Yeah. So I thought I know I did some of them. I did at least two.
Yep.
I did the Mega Man one, and then the Sonic Mario crossover Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Canadian Thanksgiving special.
Yes.
Where Paul immediately called out all the people who were actually celebrating the holiday in the story.
That was actually really funny.
It was like, what is this, Canadian Thanksgiving? And then
it was.
And halfway through, it's like, oh shoot, it's Canadian Thanksgiving.
Wait, it is. Crap.
Oops. Culturally insensitive, Paul. We're sorry, Canada.
This is why you shouldn't be allowed back.
Video games. Video games.
What is video games?
Actually, okay, so here's the thing. Digimon. Like the original...
Digital monsters?
Yeah, the original
Digimon are the champions?
Yes. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimons are the champions.
I didn't know, I couldn't understand things as a child, apparently. And I always thought that it was like, because basically what I heard was Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just like, I couldn't understand what they were saying because the music and percussion was too loud and I wasn't really paying attention that much. So I just figured it must be like, because, they make up words for all of that stuff, right? There's Gaboogamon.
Like Digimon. Yeah.
Or, Digimon. So I just thought it was like a made up word. So I think what I eventually settled on my head was Garla Trumpkin. I don't know why.
Perfect.
I mean, it fits so it was like Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon, Garla, Trumpkin.
Perfect.
I just thought it was just like the made up thing. And then I looked at the lyrics one time, several years later. I was like, oh, it's actual English words.
Oh, okay, but are Digimon virtual pets video games? I think I've asked this before, but does a Digimon count as a video game? Not the Digimon video games, but the original Digimon.
Couldn't you still battle them, though?
You can. They are games, and you can battle them. You can play two-player.
Yeah, they're video games.
Because, I guess is a Tiger Electronics handheld game.
Yeah. I would consider those, very primitive video games. Just because, because it's still got a screen and it's still displaying lights. That's close enough.
Yeah, like those LCD games.
Yeah.
Oh, because that was the other one, is I dug out the Pokemon Pikachu, the little walker thing. Do you guys remember that?
I had one, and then it ran out of battery.
Yeah, mine ran out of batteries, but then a few years ago I went and I bought batteries for my old Digimon and for the Pokemon Pikachu, and started them all up. This was 2009. I think I might have talked about it on GameCola actually at that time. So does it count as a game?
Yes.
Like a video game?
Yes.
Could you make a review? Could you make a review for Digimon?
Are we going by GameCola standards or
on GameCola?
If I played it, that would probably be the first thing I would have to do. As it stands right now, probably not, because I've never actually played it.
I think Michael Gray reviewed a coloring book or something one time, or like an activity book, but it was as a joke. Hold on, let me search for activity book on GameCola.net, Gaming Outside the Mainstream. Inside the Guide, American Activity Book. Uh-oh, we've got some Elvis impersonators. The real Elvis looks like the picture on the right. Which one of the four people is the real Elvis?
Whoa there.
I'm actually having trouble
It's not one,
seeing where...
even though the major difference is in his guitar.
I'm having trouble telling the difference. I'm usually pretty good at these, but they're very similar.
I can't even find, differences between
It's not
them.
1 and it's not 4.
Yeah, I can see the difference in 4.
I think it's number 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, the guitar in number 1, the arm in number 4. Like, why didn't they change something with, like, his face?
Yeah.
That'd be too easy.
Because he's clearly an Elvis impersonator. Just look at that guitar. He looks exactly like Elvis, but he's not playing the same guitar he was playing in this picture. He must be an imposter.
Yeah. Elvis only has one guitar. Oh, okay, I found it. There's a dot on the cuff of number 2. Color and venture fragment. Okay, anyway.
Yep, it's number 3.
Yeah, okay, so number 3 is...
Help Samuel Morris decode his telegraph. It's Happy 4th of July. I didn't even...
I like that it just says that immediately below.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, anyway, so should GameCola allow reviews of... Now see, I would say not board games, but what about board games? I think Paul and I were talking about this. Like, what about Atmosphere? You guys know about Atmosphere?
It sounds familiar.
I think I breathe it a lot.
Like, do you know about the VHS horror board game?
No.
Or like, they also have a DVD version. Basically, you put in this, like, I mean, in my day, it was a VHS tape. You put the VHS tape in, and this guy, like, yells at you and berates you, and, like, you're supposed to answer to him and do what he says, and, like, you have to roll the dice and then move around, and, like, then he says, stop! And then, like, you're supposed to do something that he tells you to do, and, like, if you're playing as this character, then move your thing over here, and then, like, you have to pause the tape and do some things, and then play the tape again. I don't know. But it is video, and it is a game.
You know what? Probably.
If Digimon can be considered a video game, I feel like this is also a video game. And so you get into other things like, should we allow reviews of board games and card games?
Probably not.
Like, you get into this...
I mean, but, like, how many people on staff are like, Jeddy, I need to review Sorry. I need to. I don't think there's a huge demand on the staff side for the ability to write reviews of board games.
You know, I'm still just sad. Like, I really wish I had bought a second Digimon. Like, the thing is that I have the original Digimon, and then I have the D3 Digivice, which was like a different one. And they can still connect to each other, they can still battle each other, but the D3 Digivice is so different that, like, it's just not the same. You don't understand.
I thought I heard the fire alarm, and I thought it was about to go off, and I was about to just, like, yell. I'm not dealing with that right now.
You're on the podcast. You can't be...
Yeah, people are gonna come into the room and be like, why are you outside? And I'll be like, excuse me. I mean, the only downside to that would be that the alarm would be going off, and it's really, really loud.
The building would be burning down.
Yep.
Small price to pay.
Yep.
Life is fleeting, but the podcast is forever.
Yes.
Yes.
So should I do a review of the D3 Digivice?
Sure.
I mean, like, who's gonna stop you?
I run the website. Maybe I can do it for April Fool's Day. Just hurry that one up.
It's like, Jeddy, I don't know if you understand that you have complete and absolute dictatorial power. You can just do whatever you want. Like, are we just gonna say no? Like, no, Jeddy. Don't write that thing you want to write.
I don't
know if we want to start a new topic.
Well, I think
It's been 2 hours now.
yeah.
Party!
And you can see how much Jeddy is, if Jeddy leaves this part in, which he might not. You can see how much Jeddy cut out. I'll be interested to see because you never remember, like, because you think like we'd be like, oh my gosh, Jeddy cut that part out, like when we're listening to the podcast again. I've never noticed.
Yeah, I almost never noticed.
I've definitely had times where, like, I'm editing it the next day and I'm like, really, we talked about that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I've said this before, but I actually almost tried writing a flag routine to the podcast song.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever mentioned that.
I tried. I might try again, but...
Now, convince the marching band to play the song.
I don't know how we'll get them to play, like, the Mega Man charging the sound. Like, you just get the trombones going... They'd have to have a lightning fast arm.
Yep.
Yes.
And I don't think they do. But yeah, I almost tried writing a routine to that. I might try again eventually, but not now. Not now, because it's rainy and cold outside. And I don't want to ruin my flag.
Sadly.
I'm sure we'll do something interesting for the 100. We should really start thinking about the 100 podcast spectacular.
That's 17.
We only have
But I mean, like, I understand
a year and a half.
but we need to plan ahead now because we will not once it's actually time. And then we'll just, and if we don't, it's just going to be like this podcast 100.
Number 100.
Yay!
Stop.
Please help.
Stop.
You're fired.
Not again.
No, I'm thinking...
Please go melt outside.
Well, okay, Jeddy, before I'm fired, if someone were to be listening to the podcast, not on our actual internet website, how would they find it?
Well, Joe, they could find it on iTunes. They can search iTunes for the GameCola podcast.
Unless they don't like it, then we're not on iTunes.
Yes. They could also find us possibly at some point, maybe in the future. If this is in the future, it's probably there on our YouTube channel, gc.net.
We have one of those?
We do.
Did you say youtube.net?
gc.net.
Okay. I was
on youtube.com.
My brain put in youtube.net. It's like, Jay, I don't think we have a youtube.net channel.
Hold on. Do we have a youtube.net?
You type that into the GameCola search bar. Do we have a youtube.net?
Hold on. It's not loading. It's resolving host. You would think, YouTube would have the money to buy youtube.net.
You would think.
I have money to buy GameCola.com.
I don't know, because it went up for sale, and somebody apparently tried to sell it to Paul, and he was like, no. I think they wanted $2,000 or something. He was like, no.
Stupid.
So now we have Feel the Taste of Free Games. Oh, I thought it was Fresh Games. Feel the Taste of Free Games. They're it still doesn't make sense.
Someone has a youtube.net host that redirects to their playlist, their YouTube playlist.
Really? Mine just came up as not available.
Well, I Google search youtube.net. Did you do the letter G, the letter C, the word dot, the word net?
I did not mention that, but it is in fact how you get to our gc.net YouTube channel on youtube.com.
If and this is if, what you should, they wanted to see, they wanted to know when GameCola posted particular articles. What venues might they have to acquire such information?
If you were using an RSS reader, you actually can get instant updates as soon as we have something posted. If not, every day that something is posted, we, in the evenings, update our Twitter and our Facebook accounts to let you know that there was a post on GameCola. And so if you search Facebook for GameCola, or if you go to @GameCola on Twitter, you can like us or follow us or whatever. Technically we have a Tumblr, but I haven't been on there in a long time. I should probably get back to that, but nobody ever did anything on our Tumblr. Nobody ever interacted with us ever.
What else? We did the actual internet website, we did the YouTube channel, we did iTunes, We did the RS feed. We did Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. Is that everything? Oh, email.
podcast@gamecola.net. Send us your fan mail. Send us your suggestions. Send us your hate mail.
Send us your spam mail.
We promise we won't wait 4 months next time.
Next time.
We welcome all mail.
Yes.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that's about it. So, thank you everyone for being here today.
And thank you, viewer/listener, for tuning in. We appreciate your patronage.
And viewers like you.
Da-na-na-na.
Jeddy, bring us home.
However that goes. And then we say something comical.
Hilarious.
Right, but then we'd have to leave a clue. We'd have to leave in some clue at the end of the podcast, and that way we'd know who actually watched the whole podcast. In the and it's like, did you find the hidden Easter egg? I don't know why there was a song there.
Turn to page 32 if you found the Easter egg.
This is an impossible result.